me. Feed me more. Feed me more. The Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show, Saturday Live. I am the big guy. Thank you for joining me. Everybody, Instagram, TikTok, the big guy, Ryback 22, and streaming live as well. YouTube, Ryback TV, Twitch, Ryback Rules, and Periscope at Ryback. Appreciate all of you guys. As always, this show is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition Premium Supplements, sweetened with Stevia and monk fruit. No artificial sweeteners or colors, vegan friendly, available on feedmemore.com. Save 20% just listening or watching this show with discount code Ryback Show 20. We got a spin and win wheel. You can save up to 35% on that, along with 20, 25, 25, 30, 35%, free gym bags, free half-gallon jugs. You could save 25% signing up for our email and text messages, discounts once a week, exclusive only to members only, with a message of positivity every week. No spam, just one message a week on those guys. Unless every once in a blue moon on special promotions, we will send out another text email blast on that. But it's not like those everyday things where you get 10 emails a day or anything like that. And those do really well for us as well, and people seem to enjoy them. We get a lot of people that message back. I personally write those myself. Very, very involved, as always, with everything with Feed Me More Nutrition. So, yeah, your love and support is always greatly appreciated for Feed Me More Nutrition. What is going on? Hope everyone's having a good weekend, good Saturday. I've had a nice day. Had a good conditioning day today, no weights. And had to go run some errands as far as drop some stuff off, send some stuff off for testing for Feed Me More Nutrition and for imaging for the company that's gonna be one of the other resellers getting the supplements really, really growing on Amazon. And I talked to you guys a little bit about that, about adjusting some of the labels so that they could be advertised. And this is in business, and it's a game of evolving and adjusting, and it can be very frustrating at times with things that go on with how much there's so much out of your control with this marketing wise. And I have to be hands on because it's my company. Nobody's going to care about it as much as me or has an understanding of it like I do. So I have to be very hands on with a lot of the things, and I've been blessed to have some great people that are literally the Feed Me More team, and that have helped me navigate these waters and make this work, because it is an easy task, and I definitely got my work cut out for me going back to wrestling, and which, though, in all fairness, my workload will actually decrease because the company that I work with will take over a lot of the day-to-day responsibilities. And I will kind of just more oversee things, even though they do the majority of the stuff now with fulfillment and customer service. And then I'll just kind of glance when I can and take a look at things and make sure everything's on the up and up. And I usually only hear about stuff if it's not good. So, which I don't like hearing, but that's when I tend to get more involved. So it's, but we're going good. Life is good. And, getting this shoulder better. I got another appointment on Monday and then another double appointment on Wednesday with the therapist, and just chipping away and in really getting this thing ready to go. I saw some questions. What do we got going on today? It was good to see. I caught part of SmackDown yesterday. It was good to see fans and everyone. It felt great. It felt like it was surreal. It's like you forget. You know, that's when we talked about it back when I used to do the wrestling report more and talk about this stuff. This is going to be the forgotten period of wrestling, and not forgotten in the sense they'll always acknowledge it in the things that happened during that period. But it wasn't not the best period for pro wrestling with no fans. There's no way to know what was working. Companies just literally had to just kind of just do whatever in that period to survive. And you go by a little bit by social media feedback and that, but that's not the same as actually getting in-person feedback with that. And it's very, very difficult to know exactly because you're not getting that live feedback based off the actual performance and the acts involved. So I think we're going to see a lot of things improve as far as pro wrestling goes, as far as the energy. And I'm happy for all the wrestlers and for fans because, and it's like everything. I think people, energy it's not the word fan we use, it's energy. You need energy to perform in front of. You need that energy back. It's the same with sports, with fighting. If you take all that energy away, the adrenaline goes down. It's not the same. Never is. That's what, and we've done practice matches where you're not wrestling in front of a lot of people. There's just not the energy there. You need that energy. Humans thrive off of energy, and some people thrive better off of it than others. So I'm hoping with everything, full arenas here on out, and everything just keeps moving forward and get the things, and then we'll see where everything's at. But what a crazy year and a half. And hopefully this is it. Put it behind us and get stuff back to normal. Yeah, let me pull up this question here for you guys. I appreciate you calling me Alan. Nobody's ever referred to me as Alan. That's my middle name, unless your name is Alan. I've been a vegan athlete for over 5 years. I've been cycling off of caffeine, pre-workout before I work out. I feel unmotivated and weak. Do you have any advice? So there's typically, and I don't know if this is something I learned when I first tried to go vegetarian, and I did go vegetarian when I was having cheat meals, though, once a week, usually for the Ryback TV, of eating a big junk meal of meat or chicken and things, and which wasn't the ideal. But again, I didn't like, and I hadn't looked at the animal aspect of things fully yet. And there was like an adjustment period with everything I was doing in my life. I was like, okay. And I had to learn. But one of the big things that I learned that I was doing wrong. So B12, obviously, and you get it in nutritional yeast, you get the fortified nutritional yeast. B12 is in a lot of things, but you can take the oral B12. B12 is better absorbed with caffeine, which our Wake Up Unlimited Energy pre-workout has a ton of B12. I'm a huge fan of B12. And taking it in powder form with that, you don't process all of it, but that's why there's a certain percentage where it's way over, because you're going to end up processing enough of it at that amount. And there's nothing wrong with taking more of it on that. But I'd say if you do take an oral B12, take it with a little bit of caffeine. It increases the absorption of it. And also, though, you have to be very, very careful with your vitamins. If you take a whole food multivitamin, and this is what I do. I take a whole food multivitamin and iron supplement. Just, do I need them? I don't know. My blood work's always great. I just keep up with, I took them when I wasn't vegan. Because an athlete, I want my hematocrit and hemoglobin to be in the upper normal ranges, because just with oxygen transportation and being heavier and more muscular, I want every advantage that I can through nutrition to be my best. But you cannot take your vitamins, and specifically those vitamins, with caffeine, and you need to distance it between, they say 60 to 90 minutes. I would say even better, 90 minutes to 2 hours, if possible. Not always doable, but caffeine blocks the absorption of iron and a lot of different vitamins. So that's one of the things I think people, when they try to go vegetarian or vegan, it's a big thing that needs to be learned. And when they told me that, and I was like, whoa, I was taking them and then literally having my coffee right after. And then, and two, with eating it with the meals, I was my caffeine in the morning. I kind of stagger my caffeine, Wake Up Unlimited Energy in the morning, coffee in the afternoon, coffee late afternoon. And that was my caffeine for the day in 3 doses with that. So I had to learn when to put my vitamins in, which I figured it out after I do my morning, wake up in my meal. I wait, usually 90 minutes to 2 hours. And while I'm doing my morning work, I stop, I go take them, finish my morning work, do my other stuff, get ready. By the time I get ready to go work out and go to the gym and have my coffee, it's already been over 2 hours, usually 90 minutes, 2 hours. And I haven't had any issues since. My energy's through the roof. So I would definitely check on your caffeine consumption during those periods. And everyone goes through different things where they go, oh, I want to come off caffeine. I think caffeine's great. I think though you could definitely overdo it. And from the research I've seen, I think most healthy adults anywhere 300, 350, 400, 500 milligrams of caffeine a day is shown to be in the healthy ranges. And I think some people, you can go above that, and some people have got to go below that. It's kind of finding that sweet spot, going by lab work, seeing where everything's at. If you got red flags going off, you got to start then making adjustments and changes. But there's nothing wrong with, if you want to cut your caffeine consumption down, but maybe keep that caffeine, the dosage you do take, right before you work out. And also you got to watch out. I don't know what you're doing with the artificial sweeteners or colors, man, but artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, man, that stuff is not good for you to begin with. It always made me more fatigued. So I would ditch those if that is in anything that you're consuming as well. Good to see all of you guys. Yeah, I did. I remember performing at the O2, man. That was a fun time. I will definitely try some. Hey, Alan. I don't know why that pops me. Hey, Alan. Alan is such a boring name to me. God, if I was named Alan in real life, like if that was my name, hey, what's your name? Oh, I'm Alan. I would just like it's like the name Helen. Like Helen, there's just like, I feel like there's not a hot Alan in the world, and there's not a hot Helen. I had a babysitter when we were kids, old lady, very, very nice lady. I shouldn't, but she was a bit scary. She had like the fake teeth and the fake hair, and she was very she was old. My parents got us. I don't know what I think she charged a very, very low fee, and we were already getting older, but we still had to technically have a babysitter. But we were like rebels. We're like, we don't need no damn babysitter. Shut up, Helen. We're gonna go ride our bikes. But I always have her face ingrained in my brain with the name Helen. Your name's Robert. All right, Robert. Thank you for calling me Alan. Man of Steel, good to see you, Justin. What would you say is more important to watch, sugar intake or sodium? I know too much is no good on both, but what would you think is pretty equal? So I think sodium, and now after reading the book Salt Wars, see, sodium, though, they're both important. I think you got to, and again, it depends on where you're consuming the sugar from. I think sugars from fruits just hit completely different, but I also think timing of like, if you're going to eat your fruit, you either do it first thing in the morning, like I do. I eat a mixed variety, so I do it right first thing in the morning, or you do it post-workout. I think those two times are the best times to consume sugars personally, and from things I've seen. Sodium intake sodium is super important. We need a certain level of sodium. The problem, and this is when I started looking into it, I was over consuming too much, and I probably at various points in my life have always done this. And a big reason why I was over consuming condiments were something that I didn't realize, just never paid attention to the actual sodium, and didn't realize how quickly that could add up. And like things like the liquid aminos, or if you get some of those low sodium, even teriyaki sauces, man, you could consume thousands of milligrams in the sitting and not even realize it. But we need athletes and people that sweat a lot, which I do. This is why I was always told by the people that I talk to, a nutritionist, they'd always say, no, you need a lot of sodium. And I think they realized, based off of the activity level, problem with that is you got to have a cap on that somewhere. So I just never had a cap on it. And so I'm like, oh, I need the sodium. But I think so. There's also a difference of like knowing if you're getting it from pink Himalayan sea salt and getting more minerals and better quality sodium than a lot of like processed junk sodium as well. But so, and again, and that's where there's some people though that do need to stay in that 1,500 to 2,300 milligram range, because they're not sweating, they're not active, They're not doing like, and they're, you know, maybe they're only eating once or twice a day. So that's more feasible. But if you're an athlete, and from the things that I've seen and looked and watched some different videos on Dr. Berg, or you're active in a bit, like Justin, you might be like, you know, 3,500 milligram range. And again, you got to get blood work. You got to see the blood pressure and things. But like with athletes, there's repercussions from not having enough sodium. And I told you I got hit with it when I was going too low, and it took like 8 or 9, 10 days, and then it nailed me because I was losing so much through my sweat. And I knew instantly. The moment it hit me, I knew. And I was like, I got to bump this up. And so there's certain things. I think sodium is really important. But I think you got to know, I think we got to know our numbers. And there's a big difference between consuming 12,000 milligrams of sodium a day and an athlete needing 4 to 6 grams a day. And you know what I mean? And that's where, for me, I got rid of a lot of the condiments and switched to lower sodium condiments and things of that nature, which I haven't missed a beat. And I'm making sure, like, I'm playing with my ranges a little bit still. And I will too, like, you know, if I want to drop water, drop weight, it's not that hard to do now, because I know that if I know I'm good for a period of time, that say I had a photo shoot coming up, and if ideally I'd probably just do a dry fast or a water combination, water dry fast, and because that's the quickest way to just clean yourself out and drop water, but I know how to do it now and drop my sodium for a short period of time. And then I'm going to be okay energy level wise for a short period if I wanted to do something to get my body watered down as much as possible. And even then I wouldn't go as low as I was on that, just with how active, especially with the amount of conditioning and cardio and stuff in the sauna. It was, God, a lot. But I think I think both are important, Justin. I think sugar though can really, you know, outside of consuming some sugar in your fruits, you know, and things of that nature, we don't want to be consuming a lot of processed sugar. I don't see the point. You know, I see kids and people. I had a friend growing up, and he was really overweight. But the reason he was overweight, and we ate actually very similar. The big difference is he consumed a lot of regular sodas, and he would have, I mean, a lot every day, and his body weight, it just was a lot higher, but we were both very active and physical. And I always wondered that. And I remember as a kid looking at that and I go, I think it's because he drinks so many of the regular sodas and things like that. And that's where you just want to, you know, there's really no need for that. Fruits and things with the fiber, I think your body hits your body different. And there's lower sugar fruits too, and things like that, right? And that's why I said, and I think nutrient timing, either doing it first thing in the morning, where that insulin kick is really, really important, and you're coming off of a fast where you're really that's gonna really do you good, or post-workout, and then just knowing when to put them in. But both are important. But I think sodium, I think it's a very individual thing on sodium, and I can't tell you specifically now, knowing and looking at this even more, that everyone's going to be at a certain level number wise. And I learned that myself with going too low. So that was a good question on, what was that other? Can you obtain gains from bicep curling and hammer curls, dumbbells, 20 pounds, high reps, like 15? Yeah, I think though you can, your body though, it does depend on your genetics and obviously the amount of calories. You know, you grow the energy that you consume in your body. You know, you could be doing 100-pound dumbbell curls, but if you're not feeding your body the nutrients that it needs, you know, and you just have good genetics and strong tendons, and, you know, you're not going to be as big as you can. And at the same time though, and, you know, and I know this based off having to cut my weight down a lot, I'm not as thick and dense as I was when I was training much heavier, because I got to wait until my shoulder, and not doing the drugs, my muscles respond really well to really heavy weight, because I've always been really strong. with that, and it's just not the same. Even though I could stay close, I'm not exactly what it was until I can do those weights at that level, and because I'm not doing the drugs or things to make up for anything like that. So the answer, yes and no, you can, but it will depend on your calories as well on that. We still have the ISO Hungry Fruity cereal protein, and once that's completely gone, then we are done on that. And that one we had a bunch of, because I had done a reorder not long before I made the decision to stop those. But everything's going to be moving towards the plant powered protein moving forward. What's my opinion about Nofap? That really helps with some motivation and energy. I do some workout to leave that thing. I don't know where that came from. I think it's one thing to, there's nothing wrong with like testing yourself mentally, like I do the fasting and things. I don't know. I've heard different theories on people and things, and they say energy wise, not doing that. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. Outside of, I think a lot of it's social media like stuff. And with that, I think it's an individual thing. I think if you're able to do it and function and stay focused and it gives you more energy, great. It works for you. I don't think that would work for everybody. And I just don't know. I think people, you got to, if it works for you, great. If not, but 30 days is a long time for anything on that. But I would be curious to where, I feel like people just invent stuff now. Every day is a different day: pizza day, burger day, taco day, Nofap, no nut November. There's something for every day, every month, every week. It's just like, let's just be grateful for every day and live life. Laughter is the best medicine. I'm a big fan. I learned that a long time ago. That's why, and I love laughing. It keeps me on the up and up no matter what. That's why I love memes. I think memes are so awesome. I love sharing good memes, and there's very few memes I won't share. There's some that I'll go, okay, we're not going to post this one. But the majority of them I will post, especially if I laugh really hard. And they actually go in great with marketing and business, so that I'm just not posting stuff to feed me more nutrition. But it's my personality as well. And that's why I was like, man, if anybody ever has a problem with any of the memes or laughing, it's like, man, they need to lighten up. Like, it's because we all relate to them. We all relate to them. And I was like, if the people that get upset over them, I think are just afraid to be themselves, is all that is. Human, especially like sexual ones and stuff, I laugh. I go, look how many people, those sexual creatures on the planet. And we have all these weird rules and regulations and like filters on stuff. I'll never, it's just humans. We're odd. We're an odd bunch. Do I ever check out any stand-up comedy? I've been to some shows in Vegas. I do want to go to more. I really, really enjoy stand-up a lot, and think those guys are incredible. Anyone who goes and does it. That's I've seen Chappelle and Kevin Hart in person. There was somebody else on that card, on that show. I would like to see Rogan too. I think Rogan would be a good one to see. But and Carrot Top, I'd like to go see Carrot Top. I think Carrot Top, he's still going strong in Vegas. That would be an entertaining show as well. I like your hooker jokes. I don't know what my hooker jokes are. Maybe you're referring to the memes. I got a good crop of people that I follow for my memes, that I know that I can get every morning and every night I do a sweep where I do my saves and do the crop, whatever I have to crop to make sure and clean up any of the images and plug those in with the marketing for the day. I appreciate Jenkins, who says, Ryback, I'm your biggest fan. Well, I get quite a few of those messages every day, so I don't know who the biggest is, but I do appreciate it. Good to see you guys on TikTok and Instagram. Yes, I do have a Danny. I have a French Bulldog and a Boston Terrier, Sophie and little guy. I've seen Tom Segura on Rogan's deal. I think Tom, Bert Kreischer as well. Chrysler. Bert. I love Bert. I like it when Bert, Tom, and Joe are together. That is, I liked when they used to do those workout challenges. And Joe would kick their asses, but they would all get in good shape for that. Like, Bert always impressed me because Bert can go from just a raging drunk to like just turning it on. That's a hell of a mind. That guy, I feel like there's a little bit of Bert in me. Like that guy, I dig his personality. He just seems like a good, wholesome, fun guy. He's definitely crazier though with some of the stuff he does. But if me and Bert got drunk together, that's very possible that happens in the future at some point. Cody knows Bert from then. Oh, that would be something. Big AEW drunk fest with Bert. That'd be a good time. Put that on Being the Elite. Yeah, Justin, the Ice Shakers, the guy never got back to me. I don't know what the deal is with them. This is the second time this has actually happened where they've reached out and we pick out the thing and then they say they're going to send it over. And like all they had to do was just send me the imaging and tell me that it was in stock. And this is the second time this has happened. So I'm not too thrilled with the Ice Shaker people at this point. I love the product. The guy I dealt with, I don't know what the deal is. And I'm the type I'm waiting. I got like 5,000 shakers coming in right now that I'm waiting, that I'm trying to locate them where they're at coming over they're on a boat getting picked up by FedEx to go to fulfillment. So any advice for people dealing with a bully? I would find out what their psychological issue is. I would do a little homework. I would hit them deep, hit them hard. And not physically, but mentally. There's a mental reason why they're bullying. I would do your homework. And I don't know how old you are, what you're dealing with exactly. Yeah, I would do that and then really go at you got to be careful with bullies with that. Because usually, though, it's coming from, it all is by how you're raised. There's something wrong at home at the end of the day. And, there's... And when you deal with bullies, it's one of those, unfortunately, I came from the day, like when I was a kid, I would just fight. And I fought quite a bit when I was younger, actually. And I mellowed out at some point, but I used to get in quite a bit of fights. I won all of them, by the way. I did have one good fight that was, I would say, could have been a draw if it was under UFC rules. Josh Merritt down the road. He was a scrappy kid. We fought, no joke, around the neighborhood, just punching each other and kicking. We went around the block multiple times. We just kicked each other's ass. That was a good one. I would say I got the better of him still, but the fact that there was not like a decisive like winner of like, it was like, we both were like, yeah, we're done. And we never had a problem after that again. I think a lot of good can come from fighting at times. Again, it can also be very dangerous, but not everyone, can deal with a bully or is confrontational or physical. And I understand that. And it's not, you want to always try to resolve things without physicality if possible. And it's tough. I don't know the answer exactly. You think, because if you're dealing with a situation with people with a bad home, bad parenting, or whoever's taking care of them, they don't care. What do you do? Then the next steps is to then adjust your life to where maybe whatever you got to do to not be around them. And if it's a school problem, letting the right people know, having kind of a support system in place that other people in school that or whoever, where you kind of help that people can kind of keep an eye out. You know, it's a tough situation. I don't have all the details of the circumstances of it, but do you want another ASMR video? Yeah, I'm gonna have to get another chips eating video. That Ruffles video, thank you guys. We got to 1 million views on YouTube. So that meme video is still doing very well. Let me see. Yeah, you said ending bullying was as easy. We're back on TikTok here, the phone. It was as easy as just hitting a guy in the nose. It's definitely not as easy these days with everything. It's just everything is changed, and with phones and social media and everybody essentially having access to having a voice. There's good and bad with that in a lot of ways. So Jonathan says I did a watermelon eating contest today for Stanhope, Iowa. Watermelon Day. It'll be the last time. I won some watermelon eating contest back in the day here in Vegas at Wet and Wild, where my mother worked for the Sands. That's since been imploded. Completely demolished that place. But they used to have a work day there. So every summer we'd get to go to Wet and Wild, and they'd have a section of the park reserved where for the big event for everyone there. And then you go ride the ride, and then you come in, they had barbecue and all the food, and there'd be a watermelon contest even every year. And I won that multiple times. Watermelon, man. I have a little bit of watermelon. I have a watermelon in my fridge right now. I think you should eat as much fruits as that you can eat that stay within your macronutrients. I'm a big fan of just doing blueberries, some little strawberries, some watermelon, pomegranate seeds, a little bit of figs, couple figs, and what else? And some grapes. And I just portion it out and just do like a serving of each one, maybe 2 of the grapes, and count those in for the day. David, thank you very much. Always good to get a good endorsement for Feed Me More Nutrition. He says, Ryback, what's going on? Been using the Wake Up Unlimited Energy, and I feel like I'm on another level when I'm at the gym. Love it. Also been using the Shell Shock, both real deal products. Thank you, David. This is my life, man. And this is what I use and what I started creating in my 20s. So it makes me happy when people use the products and do the work. And it's, there's no better feedback than that. And I greatly appreciate it. And it's, I give you guys everything I have. I'm not a fan of a lot of what's gone on in the supplement industry and a lot of the players that are involved in it. And the best thing I could do is to just do my best to continue to grow this and make this as big as possible, so that people that are truly health conscious have a great option that a lot of the other companies aren't giving people. So thank you very much, man. I love hearing it. Do a Pringles video sometime. I bet you get 2 million views. I got to look. Are Pringles vegan friendly? I'm not against doing a private, man. I used to eat. Pringles had a run where Pringles were making, I think they were doing like no fat or low fat Pringles for a long time, or for a period of years. But it had that olestra in it, which I think isn't good. I don't see them. I haven't seen them. I don't even go through the chip aisle anymore. I very rarely even go to the store. But I used to eat like a whole can of those at a time, like with my big thing of meat or something. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have eat the Pringles. They'll be my rice. That would be like after a 4 or 8 hour training session of Deep South wrestling. I used to have to eat so much food because I would be training and be gone for the whole day, 8, 9 hours, just massive sweat loss. And good thing I was eating I was getting a lot of sodium. I'd eat a whole thing of rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat, if you didn't know. And I'd eat a pound of beef. Then I'd eat like a can of Pringles. And then I'd have the baked Cheetos. I'd eat probably a bag of baked Cheetos. And I was losing weight because I was just couldn't eat enough. Then I'd have to go work out and do my workout and then eat that meal, kind of like a similar meal right after, to try to get my calories in. Deep South wrestling, man, was intense. Just trying to get your food in, like, because you couldn't eat at the building because you couldn't. There's no way I would be able to eat and train. I would have threw up right away. Hey, Shotanus, what's my favorite flavor of Xevia? Man, I don't know. I like them all. I actually swung by the store real quick today to go pick up some plant-based meats. I was running low. I actually got to do a bunch of cooking tomorrow. No, actually Monday, because I'm fasting Monday. And I'll do my cooking on Monday for the week. I've been doing the Virgil's root beers a lot, but at the store today, I picked up a strawberry after my workout. I was really thirsty, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to get a can of Xevia in the refrigerator that they have in there at the natural grocers." And I was looking at all the flavors, and I chose strawberry today. It was delicious. It was a good pick. I was really happy with that pick. And it was between that and lemon lime. Because those are the two I don't drink as often. That grapefruit citrus is really good too. Caffeine-free cola. God, the Mountain Dew, the Dr. Xevia. There's some black cherry. Black cherry is delicious if you're thirsty. Ginger ale. They've got the ginger root beer, the creamy root beer. Man, they've got them all. I do remember the soup is cold. SWAT. Yeah, that'd be nice. Be in the movie The Expendables as a bad guy, get killed by Arnold. Yeah, I definitely think I have the look and the voice to be an action movie star. Is that what they're called? I don't know. The Last Action Hero. We'll have to see when I'm back wrestling. And I'm not really I'm very content and happy. Like, I like business. And I just want my social media just to be seen. I think I could do pretty damn well working for myself. And I just don't want my account suppressed by a multi-billion-dollar company. But I do think it would be fun to do that. I like business and I like wrestling. So I tend to, and I like dogs. I just focus on the things that I like and make me happy. And I've learned that other people have other things that make them happy. I love working out. Like, I just do the things that I like that keep me happy. It's a pretty simple formula. And I'm very aware of it. And it's, I like reading, listening to audiobooks. I do that a lot. I just feel like a lot of people don't know what makes them happy, or they think they got to do other things to appease other people. I'll do what I like and what makes me happy. And it's done very well for me, having peace and happiness. No, I absolutely don't want to open a gaming channel. I'm on Twitch already, and it's being suppressed on there. Nobody sees anything that I do over there. I think we have a group of like 5 people that watch my Twitch videos. I lie. That might be like 100 people, but it's not. It's nothing. Yeah, I should have been playing in the Marine movies. The Miz actually told me that he said, and he goes, this was my last year there. We were talking about something, and they had a list for the talent that were available for movies, and I was never on it. And I remember I go, why the hell am I not on any of these lists? And that was because of everything going on. They were never going to let me. And Miz goes, they inquired multiple times, supposedly, for that and about it. And he said they always nixed it and said it wasn't on the list. Nobody ever told me I wasn't on the list. Nobody even brought it to my attention. It's like that with a lot of things. It's why when the Muscle magazines, and I knew about that because they contacted me personally. The guy that died, I can't remember his name, Sean something, unfortunately passed away. He came up to me in Madison Square Garden and when we were there for a show, and he goes, "Man, I want you on the cover of Flex." And I said, "Great, let's do it." I go, "Let's get a date and I'll get in shape. I'll be as shredded as I can while working." And he got back to me and said they wanted me for the November issue. And then he goes, I don't know what the deal is, but WWE doesn't want you doing it. And I went to Hunter and had a conversation with him, and he just bullshitted me and lied. And then guess what? For that month of November, this is why you guys wonder why I got like an attitude with things, is because of stuff like this. Is Hunter then lied to me and said they didn't want me doing it for that month, but they would let me revisit it and do it at a later month. And the reason they didn't want me being on Flex in November, and then it was him and Stephanie was on Muscle and Fitness, the Bella Twins was in another one, and somebody else did one of the other ones, all for November. And Hunter, and I just remember I said, well, why don't we just have me then do another month? And he gets like his high pitched voice and, well, you know, I get it. I know you like this stuff. I go, yeah, so do you. I go, this is a great opportunity. And like, there's nothing you can do if they don't approve it, because you work for them and they work with the company. And I just remember that's when things really, I was just like, and then they tried it a second time. And the photo guy called me back and he goes, we're trying to get you on Flex again. They're saying no again. And he goes, they want Roman on the cover. And he goes, we don't want Roman on the cover because Roman's not in shape. At the time, Roman was not in shape to be on the cover of Flex magazine. And that only very special talent get to be on Flex. You got to be big enough. And Hunter, there's just so much BS with it. And I just remember thinking, like, I'm not going to forget that. That's something that for me personally, I go, okay, cool. Put that in the back pocket. We'll see. But it was stuff like that, man. And it's done. It's over with. But man, those are once in a lifetime opportunities while you're up there and hot. That would have made you a bigger deal. And I go, man, this company doesn't work for me at all. Thank you very much. Saying I was in the best shape in the whole company, which is crazy. They've never acknowledged me, by the way, on any of the best physiques in wrestling ever. Which, by the way, I will take this to my grave. Is trying to the proper way to word this, of all the steroid people they've had and all that, and I'm not that. I'm in TRT in the normal range, and you go back and a lot of the guys, and there's stuff that goes on. People, that's one of the things I always laugh at. They don't truly understand my genetics and how hard I truly have been training since I was a kid, that have separated me, and why I stay consistent, even needing the 5-disc fusion and shoulder replacement. My body I always stay in shape, and how I'm extremely strong, which is another thing. I'm able to lift freaky weights at my size that builds great muscle naturally. And I always laugh, man, with that, when the list, and it's a list of, it's all people on steroids on their body list. And I just laugh, I go, man, I was in better shape without all that on that. So it is what it is. Good to see all of you guys. And that's nothing. The periods were different in wrestling, and people, and I told you I did them when I was younger, very mildly when I first got into wrestling. And it was, you know, I'm grateful for the experience of learning and of an adolescent mindset of, I wanted to stay the biggest guy, and all these people around me were doing them, and I justified it, that it was okay. And I think it's made me who I am with that. But I was so against them and never needed them when I was younger, and then I just got into that world, and it was, you see at the time, and I was so glad. I wish all wrestling companies, I wish AEW had a testing protocol, and I hope they do put one in place. And I will actually be an advocate for it. I want that stuff in place to protect how special I am. I don't want people being able to take stuff to get close to me. I already know that. I know the deal. So, and it is what it is. You can't put too much focus. I can only control me at the end of the day. And I think, though, with everything and being vegan and showing people you could build better muscle, have better endurance, that I've got a little bit deeper meaning on my purpose now with everything that I do. Yeah, I would definitely like to get to 1 million subscribers. We're going to hit 345,000 here. The unfortunate thing about all of this is it doesn't matter what my subscriber count is, which is odd. It should matter. No matter how high my subscriber count goes, my views don't really get any better. They never have. They've gotten worse. So, and I know when that point happened is when everything got connected to YouTube. After we took off and things were getting hot, everything got pulled back overnight. And I've talked to you guys, it's happened. So like I'm allowed to like be seen a little bit, but I get a lot of messages from people that have notifications on that don't get them. I don't even get notifications for my own podcast on my own phone, and I have them on. And I go, how's that? You go, I used to get them every once in a while. And then like, just like, I go, it's just weird, but the bunch of weird stuff with all of it. And that's why I go, just get my health back, get lined up with the right people. And there's a lot of stupid stuff going on that I don't expect people to understand, nor are they gonna, but it's my brand and my business. So I have to care, because if I don't, they win. Get rid of them. The chip challenge, even that video though, I don't think those are nearly as popular as what I think they would have been on stuff. I really don't. Especially like the heat stuff. That's where another thing where I pulled back when I saw that when I was doing this stuff. I go, it's not worth it. I'm being suppressed on a lot of ways, and only a portion of people are seeing. I go, why am I going to kill myself? Because at first everything was business oriented. The more views that I could get, it was better for business, for the supplements. But I go, I'm not going to sacrifice my health on this, and I'm not even getting the views that it should get. And so it's not, I pulled back. I haven't had El Pollo Loco in a while, man. I know they stopped selling one of the vegan items on there. I got to check. I don't know why they did that. Their vegan stuff was good. Jacob asked, who put me on the vegan life? I put myself on the vegan life. I made the decision, but it came after having Austin Aries on the podcast and reading his book. And he just presented very logical, factual information. And it was the first time that I was open to hearing it. And I didn't shut it out. And I wanted to get my health back. And I still was having some pretty severe issues and back pain. Now, my back pain was much less, but from the stem cells. But I was still had inflammation issues. And then I just go, I'm just going to learn this diet. I tried every other diet. Why? I can't have an opinion about this unless I actually go all in and try it. And it just, once I did it and I just saw, I go, this is okay. It's good. And then I've reaped the benefits of it. And when you learn the foods and you see all the BS that we're being told and lies. And two, when I saw Arnold on Game Changers, and Arnold was always a guy, and I heard different things Arnold's talked about. And I go, where they talk about like the Weeder stuff and the protein, and like then you read another book and learn about like the meat and dairy industry and how they turned all that into just like a for-profit business and started peddling this BS information on this stuff. And I go, wait a second. And then you just look around and just see how sick everyone is. And you go, wait a second. And then you see the research on the vegan diet, and a lot of the most brilliant minds we've ever had on this planet all have advised a vegan diet throughout history. And I go, wait a minute. It's not, then it's just a matter of like, how hungry are you for change? Do you want a better life? I wanted a better life. And I've always had no fear of going into things. And that was the one thing I just didn't want to look into. I never associated my food with animals. I didn't want to, because I love animals, and I didn't. So I disconnected from it. And then once I opened up to it, then I couldn't consciously do that anymore. So is it hard going from regular food to vegan? So vegan food is regular food. The majority of your diet probably is already vegan, by the way. The problem is people have a negative association of the word vegan for whatever reason, and I had it for the longest time, and that's due to conditioning and things, what's going on. Vegan is just food that we have available on the planet, plant-based foods that the majority of our diet already consists of. So I take GTS most days. I do take days off of it, and it's typically on the days if I'm tired at night and I already know, and I'm downstairs before I head upstairs, and I'm like, I'm already tired, I don't need it, and I won't take it. But if I don't feel like I'm tired, I take a serving of it before I go upstairs with the dogs. And it always, I mean, that stuff, I can't say enough good stuff. And then obviously my product, but this stuff is helped me ever since I've created it so much. So. No, you don't have to sacrifice your health going back to wrestling. That is not, I wouldn't go back to wrestling 5 days a week. I don't think there's any way to wrestle 4 or 5 days a week and be healthy. Which I would never do that again. And I've already said that. So. Get some weird people here every once in a while. Frank Lopez asks, how much do you normally spend on a meal in a restaurant? It depends. I mean, it depends on where you go, and I don't eat out outside of when I do my Ryback TV video pretty much, unless I go out on a date or something. Yesterday went out to eat at a Mexican restaurant and with a woman I know, and we had that was about a $40 thing between the both of our meals. Nothing crazy. Good to see all of you guys. I don't tend to watch, guys. I'm not a fan of people that take steroids or use steroids for bodybuilding or for powerlifting. And if they choose to make their living that way, great. And I don't know, and I stay away from it. And I think that it's a vicious cycle of people growing up watching people doing it, and then they do it to make their living. Then they get the health consequences and they retire. And then like a new crop of talent comes up, they do it. And that's where I was like, I'm not going to be part of this cycle. And that happened to me with wrestling, and hearing my hero talk about how he did steroids at Gold's Gym at the time when I was growing up. And then me justifying that that's what I needed to do to be a pro wrestler, and seeing all the other people do it. And then realizing as I evolved at a very young age and learning, I go, oh no, that's not what I need to do. And I've been very proud to have my success without it on that, and outside of TRT, HRT in the normal healthy range, not like with a lot of that other stuff. There's a lot of those guys, and I've heard stories of, you know, I don't think anything with guys on steroids should count, because it's not truly them. I think you got to have some rules on this. And like, I think a lot of the weights that I throw up are very respectable for that. And then you deal with these guys where you could just pump yourself full of stuff, and you got some guys that don't need it. And there's some freaks out there that are like the super, super heavyweight, really heavy, where like there are some guys like that are naturally stronger. Those are like the strongest guys in the world, not the guys that are doing all the drugs. Just, that's my opinion on it. I just stay away from it. I don't associate with it. And I just don't think it's any good. I see it all the time. Like, these guys will take a bunch of stuff to go squat 1,200 pounds. If the guys never took any of that stuff, they're probably not squatting 600. So like, what's the deal? Right. And maybe they're 700, maybe at best. Like, I just don't, if that's what you want to do, cool. I just don't, it's not my thing. Uh, Roger, you just started a business and have been in contact with a few potential clients. How do you go about determining your value and ultimately your rates? Just pick a number. I don't know. You just got to see what other people in the field the rate is, and yeah, I don't that kind of stuff, man. I always hated all that. Like, I get people. I don't even reply back to people. I a guy that messaged back and like wanted me to do a commercial in Arizona for a bed store, and he was like, "What's your rate?" Like, I don't know. I honestly don't. And I was like, "Well, make an offer and see." And then we made an offer. I was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't do it for that. I make way more money than that." Like, and I don't even message back. Like, I don't care. Like, I always hated. And two, in wrestling, that's the other thing. Like, you got a lot of guys that work for free. So then people don't want to pay anything. I'm just like, God, this is I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you just got to find something and just go with it and see if people want to pay you for it. Great. If not, they don't. Then you got, if you need the money, then you got to adjust. Right. I'm just a big fan of just creating a business and then don't even have to worry about it. Then you get a rate and then people say you're a bad person for getting paid a rate and making people money. So it's like you're never going to win regardless. So. Appreciate all of you joining me here. Do a little water in my shaker. How can you tell if someone's taking steroids? So again, usually it's tough, but you know, I mean, you can see them in person. You could their skin and like if they have like abnormal looking, like there's just certain things you can tell, like the structure of certain muscles get a very different look. The skin doesn't look healthy, and this is outside of. Then you got just people that you know that because they tell you and whatnot. There's a lot of guys in Vegas that are on them. You wouldn't even that don't even look like they're on them, but they are. I remember I found there was a wrestler. I'm not going to name his name. Did a show with years ago on an overseas, and I mean he wasn't like in horrible shape or anything, but he told me he was on taking a bunch of testosterone, and he told me like the amount he was taking, and I remember I go what, and that's happened several times actually. And I like literally I go, huh? I go, geez, like if I did that, I'd be 330 pounds, no joke. Like, I go, Jesus. And they don't even look anything. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy. People don't think ahead though. I go, well, what are you gonna do when you can't take that anymore? You gotta be like, you're gonna, people don't think ahead though. And that's always baffled me. Super chat, Daddy Dog Abbott. Stay amazing. Thank you very much. Is that US dollars or Canadian? The super chat. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. That's quite a few. That's a lot of Starbucks, Man of Steel. That's what you beat me to it. They what's it called? The Starbucks has raised the price in Vegas of the large coffee once again. It is now $3.20. So Starbucks had raised it from $2.87 to $2.98. We're now at $3.20 in the course of 1 year since COVID began. Starbucks has raised their rates twice already in 1 year during COVID. A lot of shady stuff going on. It makes me want to just not drink Starbucks. You know what? I should switch to Dunkin'. Dunkin's right down the road. I can go get a large turbo for my workout every day. It's not out of the way. They also just built a Dutch Brothers coffee right down the road from me. I think I'm gonna boycott Starbucks just for the point of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna crave that large black venti coffee with 2 ice cubes. But Dutch Brothers, Duncan, they're going to hook the big guy up for cheaper. I know it. That money's going to add up over the course of time. Yeah, I saw Harry Smith return to WWE, and I'm a bit. I love Harry. We follow each other. I've gotten along with Harry from day one. Me and Harry always had fun conversations. I don't understand why he didn't debut. And I don't know if he did, because supposedly he did a non-televised match from what I saw. And I don't know if maybe he did the match and then they came to an agreement, or where they had a conversation after, and he like a handshake, and they're going to get the contract all finalized. That's kind of what the impression was based off what I know how things work. Because I go, otherwise, I don't see them signing him to debut him on a dark match. Crazier things have happened, though. We'll see. He knows what he's going back into. Harry's a smart guy. I'm happy, hopefully, and with TJ there and TJ working in the office, I think things will maybe be a little bit better for Harry this time around. If you're 18 years old in Russia, I don't know everything going on. You don't want to work at the factory. If you're a fat 18-year, you're not a fat, you're a fat 18-year-old man, you say, I would say, well, get yourself in shape. People like people that are in shape, that take care of themselves. And I think better opportunities can come off of that. And what you fix your food, you fix your mood. You fix your mood, you fix your motivation. You fix your motivation, you fix your energy, you fix your motivation. It all plays together. You give everything that you got more energy. You have a better attitude toward things. So the root of the problem is the weight. Fix your weight, and then we go from there. And then we see what your problems are when the weight is off. Does that make sense? That's how my brain works, because I really believe that will be a big first step into solving some problems. Yeah, unfortunately, we get some marks in here from time to time. It happens. What are you going to do? Yes, you fix your food, you fix your mood. I haven't jumped. I used to jump out of trees when I was younger. I've jumped out of some pretty high trees. I'm amazed I never broke my leg, to be honest, when I was a kid. We did some pretty wild things when we were kids. No, I've never gotten stage fright ever. I'm very confident in what I do, pro wrestling. I'm very relaxed, even though I'm all jacked up and intense. I'm very comfortable inside the ring. I feel very comfortable. The times where I will say you are more under pressure is memorizing a lot of lines. I'm not a fan of memorizing a lot of lines, especially for live, in which I think improvising. I've always been an act and react guy, which as long as I can mix that in, I'm okay with and it's not like memorizing lines is easy. It's just more of the whole process of it. I don't enjoy it. If you're trying to get rid of side fat, you got to get your calories. You got to adjust your diet, get your calories down, increase your activity. You got to have a game plan on that. It's just going to be consistent effort. Oftentimes, a lot of people that can't make changes to their body is because they'll eat good for a portion of the day or for a day or two, and then they lose it. I see this with girls all the time. With women, they can't they'll go, oh, I'm dieting. And then I'm like, I look on their page and I'm like, I'm blown away by, I do my cheat meals and I know how big I am and I know my calories. Man, some of these women's cheat meals they post them and I'm just like, Jesus, Tiffany, that's like 7 cheat meals. Like that's ruining not just your week, that's your month. There's nothing you're going to do. And they stay the same. I made this mistake when I was really young. I would do a whole cheat day thinking, I dieted hard all week. I did such a great job. I would throw it all away every week in one day. That is stupid. where you could just do a meal, have a nice meal, get back on track, because it takes consistent effort of your metabolism to get it in. Like, but that's what people do. But they don't have, they're typically, their blood sugar's all jacked up. They can't control their cravings. That's where you got to fix our diet consistently. I think doing fasting, once a week or some form of intermittent fasting helps regulate our blood sugar to where we don't get these ridiculous cravings. And I don't get them like I did, if I'm going to go into a 24-hour fast or a 48-hour fast, I want to have a little bit bigger calorie meal, my last meal, but I don't crave, like I don't go, I need to go get a box of donuts and a box of drumsticks, the economy size, and eat all of them like an asshole before I go to bed, before I fast. Like that's like, no, I just eat a little bit bigger meal, eat a few more calories. Maybe I throw in a little chips and salsa. Okay, now we fast. I don't have a top 3. I don't know who my top 3 wrestlers are of all time. Man, I don't think it's so hard to just make a list. There's so many different great talents in so many different ways. Humans are always obsessed with like saying like the best on things, and pro wrestling isn't like other sports because it's acting. So I think you could have no titles or nothing and still be considered the best if you nailed your roles. Who played what roles the best? That's all it is physical acting. Thank you, Vintage Sid. I do look forward. I do think my prime years lie ahead for pro wrestling. And I don't think there's anyone like me. I think a lot of it is just knowing who I am and being very comfortable in my own skin. We have another super chat. Funniest and superstar and closest friend in WWE. Funniest superstar. So many guys are funny in different ways, man. I always tell you, though, R-Truth is a funny guy. Me and R-Truth get around each other. It's pretty ridiculous. R-Truth impersonating a white guy is one of my favorite things on the planet, which he would do that for Vince a lot. Vince loves the R-Truth white impersonation. And he does it fantastic. Oh, he does that as good as anybody. I don't know. And I don't know. I talk to Wade Barrett a lot. Me and Stu have always been fairly close. Me and Heath have always been, we talk a little bit. And I messaged multiple people, though. I don't know if I have like a best friend in wrestling. I get along with all the guys. Me and Dolph could not see each other for 10 years if that happened. And I feel like we would not miss a beat. It's, and Dolph's hilarious. We just laugh the entire time, make fun of each other. It's literally just ribbing each other, which are the best friendships, I feel like, as far as that goes. Which reminds me, his brother, Ryan Nemeth, me and Ryan, great friends, I would consider, is like a good human being. I got along with all the guys, though. I remember at TV, I always enjoyed just laughing and talking to guys. And everyone, like, there were so many great people with all that. But when you leave that environment, though, and you hear it from everyone, you don't talk to, it's just because, and then there's a lot of people, too, with everything I'm doing. I'm standing up for something that people that work for there have to be very careful that they don't want to associate, because this is very intense what's going on and but it's my fight and it is what it is, and it's not their fight. And I don't expect anyone to sacrifice anything for that. And that's why I speak honestly on the things and to benefit pro wrestlers, which is why I always laugh when anybody ever says anything. And there's people that will try to do it, and it comes from them, where they'll say, oh, Ryback talks bad about the wrestling business. No. I tell the truth about WWE. It's an entirely different thing. I love pro wrestling. So, and I do that to benefit people and to educate people listening on things that go on and what they're getting into, because it needs to be talked about. And so, but I saw that a couple times. Like, no, that's not what's going on. But add that to the list of lies. I like Shawn Michaels. Shawn gave me, I told you before, I've shared it. He gave me great advice in the past. that helped me make a lot of money. And then to sum it up, he told me I was Skip Sheffield at the time, and I was doing some up and over. This was before my ankle injury, where I was doing the Ric Flair up and over in the corner and climbing the turnbuckle and hitting an axe handle. And I was able to do a few other things. And he goes, "You do that?" He goes, "Well, actually," he goes, "You don't." He goes, "I have nothing bad to say about you doing that." He's like, you could either be like, he goes, "Take a look around. Like, there's nobody like you here." He goes, "You could be, like that. And, you got a lot of the smaller guys, and everyone's kind of can do that." Or he's like, "You could be like the best like powerhouse wrestler on the roster." And he goes, "He'd probably make a lot of money." And I just was like, okay, that's what I wanted to be anyways. I just got the confirmation, and he was sitting with Vince, and it was like, that was like, "Oh, we want you to wrestle this way. Not a problem. I could do that better than anyone. I'd done it before. I just needed the green light on it. Cool. Not a problem." So I'll always forever be grateful for Sean giving me that advice. All right, guys. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this night's podcast show. As always, Feed Me More Nutrition. Save 20% with discount code Ryback Show 20 on feedmemore.com. I'll try to get on tomorrow. I don't know. Sundays, sometimes I usually take off a day on that, depending on, I do have a fairly busy day tomorrow with everything. But if I can get on for an hour, 45 minutes to an hour tomorrow, I'll do my best. And if not, guys, have a great evening, great weekend, and stay hungry, my friends. Feed me more.